You've always felt like you were watching human interaction through glass, present but separate, able to see patterns others miss, connections others don't make, depths others walk right past. And you've never been sure whether this distance was a gift or a wound, whether you were seeing more clearly or just differently, whether the gap between you and others was something to overcome or something to understand. There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes from perceiving too much. You notice what people are actually feeling beneath what they're saying. You sense the tension in rooms before anyone acknowledges it. You feel the weight of conversations beneath conversations. And this awareness, rather than connecting you to people, often separates you further because you're responding to what's actually happening while everyone else responds to the surface presentation. You've tried to be more normal. You've tried to care about the things others care about, to follow the scripts that seem to work for everyone else, to quiet the part of you that keeps noticing what nobody wants noticed. But the quieting never holds. The perception keeps returning. And you've started to wonder if the problem isn't that you're failing at being normal. It's that normal was never designed to fit someone who works the way you do. Carl Jung mapped psychological types with the precision of a cartographer, and what he found was that certain configurations of personality are genuinely rare. Not better, rare. Not superior, different. And when these configurations appear in a world calibrated for more common types, the person carrying them faces a specific challenge: building a life that fits their actual psychology rather than the psychology they were expected to have. The first sign of rare personality structure is relentless inner dialogue. Your mind doesn't quiet when external demands stop. It continues processing, questioning, connecting, exploring, often to a degree that feels excessive even to you. You've been told you overthink, but what's actually happening is that you have a cognitive engine built for depth, and there's not always enough depth available in daily life to occupy it. The engine runs anyway, often on whatever material it can find. The second sign is pattern recognition that borders on uncomfortable. You see systems within systems. You notice how someone's childhood wound appears in their choice of career, how a society's fears manifest in its entertainment, how small decisions contain entire philosophies. This perception is useful, but it's also isolating, because once you've seen a pattern, you can't unsee it, and you're often the only one in the room who's seen it at all. The third sign is emotional intensity that doesn't match the situation. You feel things at a depth that seems disproportionate. A piece of music moves you to tears that embarrass you. A casual cruelty witnessed in public disturbs you for days. You've learned to hide this intensity because it makes others uncomfortable. But the hiding has come at a cost, a constant low-grade performance of being less affected than you actually are. The fourth sign is difficulty with small talk and social rituals that seem obvious to everyone else. It's not that you lack social skills, it's that the skills you have are calibrated for depth, and most social interaction is calibrated for surface. You feel like a deep-sea creature being asked to swim in a puddle. The puddle isn't wrong. It's just not your element. The fifth sign is a persistent sense of being an outsider, even in groups where you're welcomed. You can belong and not belong simultaneously. You can be accepted and still feel separate. This isn't rejection from others. It's a kind of internal distance that follows you, regardless of how much external inclusion you receive. You've wondered if you're doing something wrong. You're not. You're just experiencing the natural consequence of perceiving from a different depth. The sixth sign is that you've been significantly affected by something that happened in childhood. that others might consider minor. Jung understood that sensitive personality structures register experience differently. An event that would wash over a more resilient type might lodge permanently in someone wired for depth. This isn't weakness, it's porousness. The same permeability that makes you vulnerable to wounding makes you capable of profound experience. The seventh sign is difficulty finishing things because nothing ever meets the vision you started with. You have projects begun and abandoned, ideas partially developed and then set aside, not because you lack discipline, but because the gap between what you imagined and what you're able to execute becomes unbearable. The rare personality is often cursed with taste that exceeds current ability, vision that outpaces skill, and this gap can be paralyzing. The eighth sign is that you've questioned the fundamental assumptions others seem to accept without thought. The life script, school, career, marriage, retirement, has never seemed as obviously correct to you as it appears to those following it. You've wondered if the whole thing is wrong. Not wrong for everyone, but wrong for you. And this questioning, rather than leading to clear alternatives, has often led to a kind of existential uncertainty that others don't seem to share. Jung didn't pathologize rare personality structures. He saw them as different instruments, requiring different conditions to produce their music. The violin is not a failed trumpet. It's a different technology, expressing different capabilities, requiring different handling. And someone carrying rare psychological configuration faces the task of learning to be their own instrument rather than trying to be the instrument they were expected to be. If you recognize yourself in these signs, you face a specific challenge. Not the challenge of becoming normal, that was never possible, and would require destroying what makes you valuable. The challenge is integration, taking all the parts of yourself that have never fit and finding a way to express them fully, rather than hiding them for the comfort of others. The world needs what rare personalities see. It needs the depth they perceive, the patterns they recognize, the questions they ask. But the world won't make space for these contributions automatically. You have to claim that space. You have to stop apologizing for your depth and start building a life that uses it. Your difference is not disorder. Your perception is not dysfunction. You were built for something that doesn't have a clear name, something that won't appear on any career assessment or personality quiz. And the work of your life is not to cure yourself of what you are, but to find the expression that transforms your rare structure from burden to gift, for yourself and for everyone your depth eventually touches.